We're joined by Shreveport Police Chief Ben Raymond. Thank you, Chief, for taking time for us today.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Watching yesterday's protest, the demonstration, were you concerned when you knew they were going to be protesting? Were you concerned that things could get a little out of hand?
I think you've always got to be concerned, especially if you kind of watch what's going on nationally. I think, most people show up to a demonstration to peacefully demonstrate, which is allowed by the First Amendment. We certainly want to cooperate in those instances, but it only takes one or two people to turn that tide, or even one or two people to actually cause damage, and it makes it difficult for police when you have a large group of people. So certainly I was concerned, but I was also confident that our citizens were going to do the right thing, that we're going to peacefully protest, we were going to facilitate that, and be able to work with them, which I think we were able to do, so that they were able to be heard and get their message out, and also not resort to any type of violence, property damage, things of that nature.
The police response was pretty subdued, I guess would be the word I would use. What was your message to your officers? What was your directive in terms of how to handle this, how to be there?
So what you saw and what you said is spot on. We basically said, look, we're going to facilitate people's First Amendment right to assemble and free speech. We're not going to interfere with that. We're going, to allow a peaceful protest. We are not going to allow it to turn violent or turn into damaging property. There's even some minor things that we overlooked. As far as blocking roads. There was not a permit issued for the parade yesterday. But those are all minor inconveniences, so to speak. Once we realized that the group was going to leave Sportran and start walking, which we did not know that was going to happen, we immediately got some marked units to kind of assist, to block traffic, to let people know, there's individuals on the street walking your way, kind of keep everybody back. So we facilitated their ability to peacefully assemble and explain their discontent with some things nationally. And I'm very pleased with the way it turned out, and I hope that any future demonstrations will give us the same results.
I saw some state police presence as well. Was that part of the plan, that they were going to be there in case you needed them?
Yeah, so we coordinated on a multi law enforcement level. State, local, and federal officials were aware of social media chatter, and we follow it closely. So we knew the demonstration was supposed to occur, and there's always concern that things could go poorly. So we're prepared for things that could go poorly, but we're always hoping that things don't.
You will be back, I guess, today. They're planning another demonstration this morning, 10 o'clock. You will the same kind of response today?
Yeah, you can expect the same response. So, as long as we get the same response from the public, you can expect the same response from the police. We're here to support your efforts, but keep it within, legal guidelines.
Describe to us what happened, because we're getting national attention now, with what happened with regard to, I believe it's Sergeant Denby, who embraced one of the protesters. Describe what happened so we'll know the story.
So as I understand it, that Daniel had walked up to confront one of the demonstrators who had climbed inside the monument, and then just asked him, hey, stay out of the monument. And the individual became a little upset, and I think it was just kind of an emotional toil of everything that's going on. And Daniel, helped them through that. He told them, hey, we understand. We're here to help you. We're not causing any problems, and embrace them in a hug. And, honestly, I think that's something that occurs every day. It's just that was a great opportunity for the public to see the things that our police officers do every day. I reached out to Daniel last night and said, man, great job. I know that that's not something that's uncommon, but it was a perfect opportunity, and I'm glad that other people got to see the things that we know occur every day.
Chief, I don't know how comfortable you will be answering this, but we all know, in our places of employment, if we have someone who may have racist tendencies, and that has to be the same in the police department. Is there a method that is safe for officers who say, hey, we've got a guy who this may not be the right place for this person? Is there a safe place for an officer to turn and say, this coworker of mine, I think we need to check this out? Or is that something they just don't squeal on each other? Is that kind of the code?
No, actually, and it would be what I consider a fit for duty. And we have officers go to a fit for duty exam just, I won't say weekly, but it's not uncommon for someone to approach me or a member of the command staff and let us know we have concerns about comments made by a specific individual, and this is what the individual said. And if it causes me concern for the efficient operation for the police department or for the well-being of that member, then we place them on leave and send them to either a psychologist or to a medical facility, depending on what the nature of that fit for duty is. And we have a professional tell us, hey, this is what's going on in this person's life. Sometimes that person needs to stay off work for a few weeks. Sometimes that person decides that it's better for them to resign. So, those things happen often, but we don't talk about them. Those are personnel issues and personal type matters. But certainly there's a venue for that, and I would encourage anybody that's concerned about an officer's remarks, sentiments, demeanor, to come forward and allow us to investigate properly.
I know the police officers have their Bill of Rights. They have a certain set of rights on their job. Is it too hard to get rid of a bad apple?
I wouldn't say it's too hard to get rid of a bad apple. I think I will say this. You've got to be careful about the precedent you set in when you're getting rid of people. So, and I don't want to talk a lot about social media posts. As you know, we've got open investigation. But I would like to say just openly that I'm disappointed in social media posts on a broad scale. So I'm disappointed in one in particular, but I'm disappointed on a broad scale from many police officers, some officials, people that just really should keep opinions to themselves that can lead to controversy. We've got some criminal investigations into some posts that have been made over the weekend that I was made aware of, where there's threats of violence, threats toward violence toward protesters, threats of violence toward police officers. Social media has unfortunately made it easier for people to share their opinions with large masses, and that tends to cause chaos and controversy, and it can lead. That's one of the things that can lead to civil unrest.
You brought up the social media, so let me ask you this: we had a man in Shreveport arrested for making a threat to President Trump. He was an African American. We now have all these threats to protest against protesters by white folks, to be honest. Are we going to see these people arrested the same way we treated the man who threatened the president?
We're certainly going to. They're being investigated, and if they need to be arrested, they'll be arrested. I can assure you, we're not going to not arrest somebody based on the color of their skin or the position that they take, be it far right, far left. We will treat every one of them as appropriate, and if there are criminal violations, their actions, and the district attorney would like to prosecute, then they'll be arrested.
Gotcha. Plan for today and going forward. Can you give us kind of I know you don't want to give the whole plan, but you're ready? You'll have extra folks on standby today, correct?
Yeah, so you can expect to see from the police department what you saw yesterday. We're certainly prepared for another demonstration, prepared to facilitate that, hopefully work with the community and allow their voices to be heard again.
Shreveport Police Chief Ben Raymond, thanks for your time, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.